Good afternoon, and welcome to the Family Law Section's December Facebook Live, Success at Trial and in Family Law Practice with Shannon Novey. We're so fortunate to have Shannon as today's speaker. Shannon is board certified as a board certified family law attorney and a fellow at the AAML and a partner at Novey and Gonzalez in Tallahassee. She is a graduate of the Florida State University College of Law and is also certified in collaborative law. And she's succeeded in so many ways as a law professor in 2015, a speaker, a mentor, and one of the top attorneys in the state of Florida. She's been recognized as one of Tallahassee's 25 women you need to know. Thank you so much, Shannon, for being here with us today.
Thank you, Amber. That was nice.
My pleasure. We really are so excited to have you. So you've handled hundreds of trials, and we have a diverse audience today of many different experience levels. So from your experience, what is the most important aspect of your trial preparation?
Sure. So it might not really be hundreds of trials, certainly hundreds of court appearances and a lot of trials over the years. I think that the key to good advocacy is confidence. And how do you become confident? You become confident for trial by being organized and having properly planned for that trial to occur. What does that mean? Well, it means that first of all, you need to know why you're there, why you're doing it, right? What are the issues that, the legal issues that need to be determined in that trial? What is your order of proof? What are the facts that are in dispute? How do you link those facts to the legal principles that are at issue? So it sounds simplistic, but it really requires a lot of forethought almost from the beginning of the case, right? As you go along and develop the factual predicate that you're going to need for to determine whether there's a legal issue in dispute or not, and how you're going to resolve that legal issue. I think one of the things that is similarly important about that is to anticipate what evidentiary objections there might be relative to those facts, and to be prepared again to the preparation to address those objections in advance, and to think about, on the other side, how are you going to keep things out if necessary, and if you're not, how you're going to address them when they come out, facts that are less than favorable to you. So I think that's I think that's really what it comes down to. And whatever help it is that you need to get there, whether it's in the form of a second chair, in the form of paralegal help, take all of it and then work with the material in ways that are effective for the lawyer as an individual.
Thank you, Shannon. So those are excellent tips. So you spoke a little bit about organization. So do you usually pre-write all of your examination questions or just an outline? And what do you think works better?
Okay, so I do a little bit of both, and I think that has changed over time. Certainly, when you go back to that organization, you know what the legal elements are that you need to prove. And in that order of proof, you're going to have what witness and exhibits there are that are going to provide the evidentiary basis for that element of the law, the factors that need to be proven. And so part of, my order of proof is certainly written down, and I know which exhibits go with which witness. And I certainly, on an expert witness, I would have, because that's typically quite technical, I would have pre-written questions on other, fact witnesses and other elements of the examination, it's really more just notes to remind me that, I need to do one of these 500 things that are at play. I do think a mistake that I've seen in a lot of young lawyers is, especially in depositions, is, you pre-write all of your questions to keep you organized, and then, failing to deviate from that outline when a witness says something that really is unexpected or needs to be followed up on, and so that takes some practice.
That's such a good point, because I've experienced that myself. So, have to be a little bit flexible. So that's really, really helpful. So once you get to the trial, at trial, have you or a client ever been subject to inappropriate comments or conduct related to gender, experience, or background? And how did you handle that?
So the answer is yes, I think so. And the most obvious example I can give is from a very long time ago, but I was second chairing a lengthy trial. So it went on for several weeks. And as the trial, and I was the only woman lawyer in the room. And as the trial went on, some of the formalities that we would typically utilize in a courtroom went by the wayside a little bit. The lawyers weren't always standing to address the court, etc. And so the court addressed me with a question, a minor thing. There wasn't, there wasn't an argument being made or the examination of a witness. It was a question posed, and I started to answer it, and the court admonished me that I needed to stand up when I was addressing the court. And it really took me by surprise, and I won't say hurt my feelings, because who cares, but it was a clear example of different rules for at least for me in that situation. And I didn't do anything about it. I just responded with what as much politeness and professionalism as I could, stood and addressed the court. Outside of the courtroom, there have been instances over the years where clients have said things that could be construed as offensive or discriminatory. And in those instances, my solution is to not work with those clients. That's the control that we have over our lives, is to make selections based on what we think is going to be acceptable to us as people, as humans, as we go through our lives and doing the work that we do.
Thank you so much for your candor and for sharing that. We really appreciate it. So shifting a bit to practice, have you been mentored, and by whom, and how has that helped you succeed?
I have absolutely been mentored. And I think that the nature of mentorship is something that evolves, hopefully, throughout our entire careers. None of us are really should be doing this alone. Early in my career, I was mentored by a woman named Cheryl Stewart at my very first law firm. She hired me as a law clerk out of law school. She absolutely was a champion for me to be hired as an associate at that firm. And then in my next job too, I called him my rabbi, but he really was a mentor, a guy named Jeff Cohen. And that was in a much bigger organization. Both of these, my first law firm and then my second legal job was in a government agency. So, big superstructures. And you absolutely, as a young lawyer really just needs someone that is interested in your success, in helping you, helping develop you, providing access to the discussions that are going on behind the scenes, in addition to doing the, you know, the grunt work that we all have to do when we're young lawyers. So that's absolutely critical to help develop those legal skills. You know, later, I guess maybe I was almost 10 years into my practice when I moved back to Florida and began practicing with my father. I don't really think about him as a mentor. I think of him as my father, but you know, he also was absolutely critical to my development as a family lawyer. And again, provided access to me to cases and issues, complexities in cases that I never would have encountered as a, you know, baby family lawyer out on my own. And, you know, now that I'm board certified myself and a fellow in the academy, I really think of my colleagues as mentors, and I hope that I'm the same for them. I think that the ideals of board certification and professionalism require us to help each other, to have, you know, family law firms are typically very small. They're, you know, sole practitioners or smaller structures of firms. And it's critical, no matter where you are in your practice, to have somebody to bounce ideas off of and to, you know, go to for, you know, validation or help or whatever it is that you need. So yes, mentorship it has been essential to my development as a lawyer, and I hope that I know that I've provided that to some people, but I hope that, you know, people think of me in that way as well.
Thank you. Absolutely, yes. And one of the great things about the family law section is joining and being a part of the section is another great way to find a mentor if you don't have one. So definitely agree with you. So handling trials and managing a practice, all having a family life, is very challenging. We had months ago, Dr. Day was with us on Facebook Live talking about compassion fatigue. So what techniques do you use or have you used in order to keep your life in balance and to de-stress?
So I'm going to give you an answer that is that came immediately to mind, and I'm partially serious, and that is cussing. I I really cuss a lot, and I'm joking a little bit that that's a mechanism, but you know, I love to listen to NPR. You know, I heard it on NPR, and I did hear that it has been scientifically proven that people who swear have like decreases in the cortisol in their brain chemistry. So there is some science to it. You know, we definitely, within the confines of our office, are feel free to blow off steam with each other, because everything that we do is confidential, and it can't leave the walls of our office. But you know, relying on the people that you surround yourself with in your work life to be good people that you can rely on, and that you can you know, utilize it to help decompress, you know, like you're in a pressure cooker and you're just letting off that steam a little bit at a time. So I do think that one of the best way to manage the stressors of being in this type of practice is to control what you can control, and that's your staff and the people that you rely on for that help, and also the clients that you agree to represent. And I kind of referenced that a little bit earlier, but client selection is critical to trying to have clients that you have a passion for representing. And I don't mean passion in the sense of love, I mean that you embrace their goals, and that those are goals that you think are achievable and worth pursuing. So, that's one stress limitation. And then of course, there's all the sort of normal things that people talk about: getting outside in nature, exercise, making time to be with your friends and your family, and, trying to set boundaries, which has been harder since COVID, sort of opened up the electronic practice of law to anywhere, anytime, but to try to keep those boundaries in place. So.
Well, thank you so much, Shannon, for your time and sharing your tips and secrets with us. We really appreciated having you on. And to everyone out in the audience, we wish you very happy holidays and hope to see you soon. Thank you so
Happy
much.
holidays, everyone.